19th. Then we're gonna give it back to you on the 23rd or the 25th, depending on how fast we get them. There's 30 of you, so we've got to read them all, so how fast we get those done. So if you just have any questions between now and then, bring them with you to class. We have it actually on the schedule to answer questions one day, if I can look at your schedule again.
Is it a final court report?
This is for the initial permanency hearing. So we will look at court report questions. I think I must have taken it off. No, here we go. Next, I have it down for the 12th. That's tomorrow, so that's wrong. We'll bring your questions on the 23rd. How about that? Is that, no, it's due on the 19th. Bring your questions on the 18th if you have them, or email me or email Chantel, because she's our court report writing expert. And so email those to us as you have them, or bring them with you next Monday, and we'll address those.
So we're supposed to print them out, or
What?
the court reports?
No, you're gonna,
Put them in Optima, or?
no.
Yeah, how do we?
What we're gonna do is, I'm gonna send you this early family engagement report,
Uh-huh.
and I'll probably send each of you a Word document. Does everybody have Microsoft Word? Does that work for everybody? Linda will work on it. And anyway, I'll probably send it to you that way, so you can edit that as you go. Does that sound fair to
Oh, so you
everybody?
just like build from.
So you just build from just like in real life, but in real life, it'll be a Google Doc.
Right.
Who wants it via Google? I know you two do. All right, so I'm gonna send it both ways. I will share it with everybody via Google, and I will send a Word document. Sound good?
Now just remember Google,
Huh?
or you send it, you're gonna have to make copies
What?
if you send it via Google.
Yeah, I will, don't worry. Yeah,
Yeah.
so Chantel brought up something, this happened to us last time. If you are going to use the Google Doc, and I'll put this in the instructions that I send you, make a copy, because if you start writing in that Google Doc and then Anthony starts, everybody changes everybody's information. It's literally a living, breathing, we all write on it at the same time document. So when you get it, make a copy. Okay, I'll put that in the instructions. Or just use the Word document if that's easier. I'm making myself a note. What questions do you have? Chantel gave us good information, but you got a lot of information tonight. What questions do you have in 1 minute?
Well, I just have a
Yeah.
general concern. So I know we're here for the children, we're the voice for the children, but I'm getting a little overwhelmed with how involved we have to be with the parents as well.
What's your concern about it?
Well, I feel like I'm here for the kids. And I understand, reunification is the goal, but I have to keep up with the parents as well, like keep giving them services and.
Okay, you don't. All we're doing is meeting with them once a month.
Well, recommending them.
But you're recommending that more than likely, you're recommending that they continue with their services. So think about how the CASA is acting in the videos, and think about the recommendations you're gonna make, because you're meeting the parents once a month, and every 3 months, you're checking in with their service
The
providers.
best way to explain it is you're monitoring their services to see if it's gonna be in the best interest of that child to go home.
So
You're
I'm not
responsible for
there like,
No,
you
we
You're
are
need to
not
go to do
responsible
this.
for
No.
establishing that service, you're not responsible for making sure that they attend those visits. What
That's
you're
CPS.
assessing is, hey, I saw here that have you had an opportunity to finish your psychological? What day did you do that? How is therapy going for you?
So I don't need to be like, oh, you haven't done that yet? Well, you need to go.
No,
No,
that's not our
I mean,
job.
and there are some volunteers who have the capacity, but that's not your role.
Okay.
Your role is again to just monitor those services.
Okay.
And once you start having your case reviews, in that case review, your minimum standard is to obtain that information quarterly. You don't have to follow that monthly.
Yeah.
You do, but you do want to assess the home, because we had CPS want to do a monitor return, never went to the house, and we get out to the house and it's literally a shell, and if you walk, you almost walk through the floor. Yeah, it doesn't work. So you do want to get out to the home, but it's not as rigorous as what you would do for your
So
children.
just think of it in the sense of monitoring for the best interest of the
That's
child,
it.
but
Very
not
good.
for like
That
the
is-
parent.
Right,
That
doesn't
is all you
matter.
doing.
We want to see, well, Chris, can you speak to your case?
I'd love to.
Yes, please.
It was probably the world's most perfect case as far as things went, and it was ridiculously frustrating. one of the examples that keeps coming up on, role of the CASA, one of the things that was not on the list, but we're hinting at it, is transportation. Both of them had both the parents had lost their licensing a while ago, a number of tickets, multiple violations, and if they got pulled over in the wrong way, they were going to jail while they were working their services. And so as the CASA, I encourage them to get street legal, so that that's actually something that'll sound good to everybody, and you won't go to jail while you're trying to get your kids back for this infraction. Culturally, it was not something that had mattered or they cared, and certainly not in their community. It just wasn't a metric. But I convinced them that it was a big metric in the court system, and as soon as the mother got hers and the father was working towards it, and they get reduced fines because of their financial situation, but they just didn't know of any of the resources. Now all of a sudden, CPS was on board that, hey, these guys are really trying. Because they'd worked their services, and everybody worked their services, and that wasn't convincing. But this one example, and every case will be different, but they just weren't legal drivers. And the CASA, there were two of us, showed them the resources to where they could go and be drivers, and that resonated with the court, and it was reinforcing. And this was a great news story, and the kids went back with the parents.
But Chris is selling himself short. So what really happened is that Chris and Jaime, who worked together, really wanted these parents to get their kids back. They really thought it was in the best interest, if I'm telling this right,
Yes, ma'am.
in the best interest of those children to go home. CPS was not on board. We have once a quarter staffings with Child Protective Services, and we invite you to come to that.
Every other month.
Every other month, excuse me, every other month. So we invite you to come if your case is gonna be discussed. Well, Chris came, I'm not sure if Jaime was there or not. At any rate, the CASA volunteer was present, and through those arguments, and I don't mean argument, I mean through that, presenting that case and CASA's view of the case, that permanency goal was changed, and those kids ended up going home. Now that's powerful advocacy, right? So if you think we have more information, we have the time and attention to say, did you know this is how you can get your driver's license back? While CPS is saying they're not doing this, they're not doing this, they're not doing this. Jaime and Chris were convinced those parents just needed to do a little bit more to get their kids back, and it worked.
And there does come a point where there's a bottom line, but that follows with the monitoring of, hey, what are you doing? Is this your barrier? And so you won't do it initially, and I think that's where the overwhelming part comes in for a lot of new volunteers, is they feel like they have to have that piece right then and there. You don't. As time goes by, you will get to a place of, what do these parents need so these kids can go home?
If that's in the best interest of the
Yes, in
kids,
their
and it's
best
not
interest.
always.
Right, but you're not responsible for necessarily making their service plan and their services. But if you do, you can do research. You can help and assist with different programs. It's called information and referral.
Information and referral, put it on your time log, or your contact log,
Yeah.
but we'll get to that later on.
But yeah, so you can, just don't think that you're not bound, you don't have to burden yourself with that. But at some point in time, you may have to in your case. All cases don't require it.
Yeah. All right, other questions? We've already gone a little bit over, I
Chris,
apologize.
is that correct?
All right, so we'll see you tomorrow at 5:30. Oh, no, that was good. Can I ask you a curiosity?